Okay. Good morning, y'all. So as you can see, this hair. Okay. It's gonna be that kind of day today, and I'm not mad about it. Um, as you can see, the hair is freshly washed and twisted up and all the good things, and it's in full lion's mane fashion as it should be, because we do have a first quarter square moon this weekend, Saturday in particular, an afternoon, first quarter square moon in Leo. So yes, embrace your leonine qualities, my lions and lionesses. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining. Please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. It is appreciated. Please help me get up to 1,000 subscribers. That would be amazing to be able to hit that threshold. So as you can see from the title, I'm going to be talking about divine masculine and divine feminine energies, the twin flame journey. What I'm actually going to be doing is tapping into each energy specifically, giving guidance. And then we'll see what else comes through. All right. If you do have questions, go ahead and type them in the question box. I don't know if I'll have time to get to them depending on how long the messages are, but please do type them in and I will try my best to get to them. Sacred Life Tarot says your hair is lovely. Thank you. I'm feeling myself. I just unfollowed like an hour ago. So many readers doing twin readings, and boom, here you are with guidance I know I can trust. I'm so grateful. Oh, thank you. Listen, spring cleaning indeed. Yeah, I mean, if you have followed me for a while, you know, like, I don't think I've ever done a reading on these energies. So it's definitely not going to be typical, right? Because I don't have a typical mindset about these things. For those of you who are not on my newsletter list, you might not have seen one of the recent I guess sharing of my perspective on twin flames. If you haven't, thank you, Sacred Life Tarot. If you haven't, definitely go to the blog page on my website, and it gives you a rundown of my perspective on twin flames. So, but just in case, obviously, if you haven't read that, you're not going to be able to read it right now because we're in the middle of this. But for me, twins are soulmates who are part of our same soul cluster, but who have achieved a certain level of progression in their ascension process. You may or may not choose to actually have a romantic relationship with a twin. It's not necessary, but there is opportunity there if you want to. Usually there will be some kind of strong pull or familiarity because you've had so many lifetimes together. But it's not always the case that, it's automatically romantic, because some folks might already be in relationships. They might not be in the same sexual preference, all the things. So I think it's important for folks to not get mired in this old belief system of that there's just one person that you have and that's it. Because we have many soul mates, i.e. family, friends, business partners, etc. You actually have the potential to have many twin flames, in my opinion. And I know that that's like so heretical to hear. But this is my perspective because, if folks are doing their work, you're going to meet others like you. And if they're really doing your work, you're really going to meet a lot of those people as well, too. So I myself have several twins, different genders, different sexual preferences, all that kind of stuff. And I do recognize them as soul family. And a lot of the experiences that we have in our own personal individual journeys tend to mirror each other. Okay. So that's that. So I'm actually going to start first with the divine feminine. And then I'll do the divine masculine. And then if I have time, and also depending on questions, I might do relationship stuff, because I know people are still going to ask about it. Maybe relationship or business stuff. Oh God, what was I going to say? So when I use the term divine feminine or divine masculine, I'm not referring to biology. I'm referring to the manifestation orientation of an individual soul. So the feminine is the one that is creative, right? But it is magnetic. It draws to it. The divine masculine also is creative, but it goes out, right? So magnetic versus, I guess you would call it electrical. So you can be or identify as man, woman, or whatever, or have a particular biological framework that you're in. It doesn't matter, but it's just how do you operate as an individual soul? What energies do you primarily embody? Now, most of us, especially if you are calling yourself a twin flame, if you're on that journey, you actually should have both. Although, depending on your chart, especially if you get a reading from me and we get into that kind of stuff, you may be pretty centered in both energies, but there may be some aspects that are going to be more feminine or more masculine. So it really does depend, but we're just going to go with how you predominantly resonate. Okay. So yes, you could be someone who identifies as a woman, but you sit spiritually and energetically in a divine masculine principle. Then you need to be paying attention to the divine masculine portion of this channeled message. Okay. As opposed to conforming yourself to a societal standard if that's not actually what you naturally resonate in, and trust that you already know. Okay, trust that you already know where you sit. Now, for those of you who are on a conscious ascension path, who do operate as a twin flame, meaning balance between divine masculine and feminine principles within, balance between the human and the higher self or the soul consciousness, okay? You actually need to be paying attention to both divine masculine and divine feminine. I think this is actually the case for everybody, but I think for those of us who are, like I said, consciously engaging with their spiritual walk, there's guidance for both sides. Because depending on the context that you are operating in, you're going to switch, right? So for me, in the context of relationships, I tend to sit in a divine feminine principle. When it comes to business, I sit more in the divine masculine. Okay, so it just depends on the context. All right, so I think that is it. So yeah, if you do have questions, please go ahead and type them into the box and I will try my best to get to them. I am going to have to cut this just under an hour because I have a coaching session for myself that I have right at 11. So I need to switch gears. So starting with the divine feminine. So go ahead and take a few deep breaths. Settling in to receive messages for your highest and greatest good for this aspect of the energies that you embody, whether partially or fully. And we'll see what messages are coming through. And I'm getting specifically due to this first quarter square moon in Leo, what messages for the divine feminine embodied or operating individual souls for this week ahead. Okay. And welcome to those of you coming in. Please go ahead and like the video. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to help me get to 1,000 subscribers. It definitely makes things easier and opens things up much more quickly here on YouTube in the ecosystem when you hit that 1,000 mark. So I appreciate it. Okay, so I can already tell this is going to be a very esoteric read, so keep up. Okay. So now I love this because what has shown up in terms of the journey that we've been on up to this point is the Empress, and this is the divine feminine embodiment. So we have shown up, we have done our work, we are sitting in our power, in our energy. Kudos to all of us. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Beautiful confirmation. Okay, so we did it. We made the choice. We crossed the threshold. We are embodying this principle. We are sitting in the divine feminine. Now, what's available for us to open up into, interestingly enough, is the Eight of Swords. So because this is going to be a more esoteric interpretation, and if you want to know how I interpret the cards based on different types of readings I'm doing, shameless plug, sign up for my Divination through Tarot course, which is going to be starting in July. Details are on my website at the Lightworker Academy page. We're going to be getting into this. The Eight of Swords, though, is a card of surrender to the higher consciousness. So whatever your next level is. So for the bulk of us, us being those of you who are part of the same oversoul group, we're part of the same oversoul group. This is the merging with our, depending on where you are in your journey, fifth dimensional consciousness of the soul, or seventh dimensional consciousness of the soul, or ninth or higher. Okay. But most of us are going to be in the either fifth or seventh. So this is a surrendering to that and letting this mold you from here on out. Okay. Once we get to the 8 and above, those are the numbers of the divine, of the soul itself, as opposed to the human expression. So we've done a bang up job in getting ourselves together on the human level. Okay. Balancing and embodying the divine feminine principle. And now it's time to essentially submit to the divine feminine principle of the soul itself. That's what's on hand. This is Jupiter in Gemini. So this may be especially key for those of you who have Jupiter transiting your third house right now, because that's a Gemini house. So if you do, really pay attention to this message. Or if you have Jupiter in Gemini in your natal chart, that may also resonate very heavily for you guys as well too. I know this is a message definitely coming through from me because I do have Jupiter transiting my third house right now. I'm a Libra rising. Never fails. I'm clearing for y'all. Drink some water, folks. All right, so the action for us to take to go on that journey of surrender is actually the King of Pentacles. And this is specifically associated with Taurus because the king is the fixed energy. Okay. Taurus represents literally Mother Earth. And it's interesting because I actually just got a download right before I jumped on this live about the power of, or the wisdom about magnolia trees. Okay, magnolia trees are some of the most ancient trees on this planet. They have been around like almost since the beginning of life on this planet above ground, right? When we had, trees and stuff like that. They're ancient trees, and they were here before the bees were here. Okay, so they're not pollinated. They're not part of the plant kingdom that's pollinated by bees and insects. I think they actually either self-pollinate, or they could also be pollinated by, beetles and scarabs. I don't remember. So I'll have to double check that, or you can research that on your own. So there is a message here too about the ancient earth feminine principle that's been in play from jump. Or you can think about this as embodying the wisdom of nature and the cycles of the earth. Having that mindset. This is also the slowest moving energy as well too. Okay, Taurus Earth versus Capricorn or even Virgo. This is actually the slowest moving Earth. But if you've heard that expression before, like, nature doesn't rush, from the Tao Te Ching, but nature doesn't hurry, it doesn't rush, and yet everything is accomplished. There's something here about peacefulness and restfulness that's really key. Also, Taurus represents the physical body along with Aries. So definitely needing to continue to stay on top of caring for physical form, making sure we're getting enough rest, eating healthy green foods, grounding foods, lots of water, exercise in particular for those of you who do spiritual work or who are in high stress jobs. Weight training, strength training, and especially is going to be really key for you. Okay. And what helps us with this is the divine mind, the Ten of Swords, the Christ consciousness, the divine human template. There is the wisdom here in this. Now, this is also Sun in Gemini specifically as well too. So this may be, and this again, that third house energy, the conscious mind, consciously working through that, but also connecting through to higher self, to the soul consciousness, to Archangel Uriel, if you feel that. As well as this upcoming Gemini season. And where we're being protected and supported is the King of Cups. And I heard with this specifically the heart, a lot of heart healing and stabilization. Okay. Interesting. The battle we just faced was the moon. So we have really emerged out of some dark journey of the soul. We have. And we've promoted ourselves. Let's see, anything else with this? This is relating to how we are able to manifest even more powerfully moving forward. So as we surrender to what's available on the soul level and allow that to take over and integrate fully into our consciousness, we'll have greater mastery over how we create and we'll understand specifically, again, for us being, I'm speaking to the divine feminine embodied folks or operating folks. The way we create is through the spirit, through the non-physical. So yes, you do need to manage the physical, right? But you can't look to the physical to shift things in your world. That work has to happen in the spirit. That is the power of the feminine. It sits in the formless. The masculine sits in the form. Okay? So stay in your lane, feminine. If things ever slow down in your life or things are not happening the way you want, please, first and foremost, look to what is going on in the spirit. Because there's usually something off there, either healing that you need to do on your own or some kind of block in the spirit, okay? Because if you're already doing the work of being consistent in the material world and things are shifting, that means then your attention needs to go back to the unseen. So just remember that you're always going to be, it's not going to be a 50-50 split. It might be a 55-45 or 60-40, depending, again, on the type of work that you do or how you operate and live in your life. But you do need to give, for those of you, again, primarily identifying with the feminine principle, or for those of you who identify as an individual twin flame, the feminine actually has to, or the unseen, the spirit nature has to have more, slightly more focus. because that's going to pour over and spill over into the physical. Okay, that's what actually gives you the sense of having your cup runneth over, being able to give from the overflow that actually comes from the spirit. So you can think of it as this way. The spiritual nature as the feminine, the material world as the masculine. So the masculine can only work with and build and construct and propagate what it's given. It can't actually create in and of itself. Okay, so if you want more, or if you want to expand, or if you want to shift, that work has to happen in the spirit. And you have to take ownership for that and know that that's where your power lies, especially for those of you who identify primarily as the divine feminine or as an individual twin flame. Okay, cool. All right, welcome to new folks coming in. Please go ahead and like the video. Now I'm going to shift to the divine masculine. So those who identify primarily with that energy, like I said, or again, those of you who are on your ascension path and identify as a twin. And then, of course, if you have questions, please type them in the question box. June gloom is early here in Southern California. But at least most of the marine layer tends to burn off mid to late afternoon. So hopefully that will be the case today. How y'all doing today? All right, so let me shift into the masculine. This is actually relatively easy for me. I have a Libra rising and a lot of powerful energy in Libra. So sitting as a twin is actually quite comfortable for me. And I have Venus in Gemini. So sitting in the twin energy is very comfortable for me. A few more shuffles. Now, for those of you who do not follow me on Instagram, please do so. And also check me out on Facebook. Just type in Inner Sun Alchemy. I just posted a crystal grid that I set up to support a lot of the physical healing and emotional healing around trauma that's been coming up for a lot of folks. I haven't really been doing much sharing of the grids, but I think I'm supposed to share more because I think people are really needing that. So definitely go check it out and tune into the energies. They are powerful. I went into the Akashic records of our collective oversoul to set this energy and these blessings and these intentions and the support in motion. So it will be powerful. Don't miss it. Okay, so divine masculine messages for this upcoming week as being dictated and channeled through this first quarter square moon in Leo. And so everyone just take a few deep breaths as we switch energy, and I can feel that. Interesting. Okay, so the Emperor hasn't shown up yet, but we'll see when I expand my spread if it does. So masculine, y'all have been going through some changes. This is the energy leading up into this point, the Two of Pentacles. So there's been a lot of, I'm hearing specifically karmic balancing that's been going on, a lot of having to see the light and the dark within. Also, a lot of decisions need to be made about money, about work, about relationships, about all the things. So yeah, it's but it's healing and it's purposeful as always with the divine. But yeah, I am actually still feeling that you are, and we, because I also sit in the divine masculine energy. There is still a lot that's being juggled. So this is making you feel still not clear, still not sure about where you're going and what's coming. You might be feeling even a little bit overwhelmed, trying to keep it together. Okay. But what the divine is saying is available to you in the direction it's asking you to go is the Queen of Pentacles. So this is actually Capricorn. So cardinal Earth, the creative aspect of Earth, the generative. So this is building house and home. This is building up resources. This is going on new health regimens. This is being focused on creating legacy. Like this person is legacy minded. They are looking to the future and they're paying attention to or getting more alignment with what their long game is. Now, because this is the feminine, the double feminine energy of this earth, this is also a call about connecting to the heart, meaning what actually brings fulfillment, what's in alignment with the soul path, soul purpose. Now, this could actually be a person. Because I'm doing a general reading, I wouldn't say to focus on the sign of the person. If you already know, if you sit and embody in the divine masculine, or if you already are an individual twin flame, if the person you're dealing with has a moon in Virgo, oh, I'm sorry, not moon in Virgo, moon in Capricorn, or has their sun in the fourth house. Yeah, I don't want to get distracted with that. Let's keep going. The action to take, 5 of Cups. Masculines. Y'all got some grieving to do. And it's being forced. You got to let the emotions clear, whatever is stuck there in the heart, because that's what's going to help you shift your perspective and move from this holding pattern that you're in, because I was already picking that up here. Whatever regrets you have, whatever pain from the past, wherever you need to forgive, that needs to be done. That's actually what's going to shift things for you in the physical so that you can get into more of a creative space. Because remember, you manifest differently than the feminine. But in order for you to make inroads in the material world, you actually have to make sure the interior world within you is actually grounded and stable. That's what's actually going to give you access to your power. Now, this is a Scorpio card, and what's here in the center is Scorpio, the death card. And this is where the divine is protecting and supporting you. This is also speaking to the energy we're stepping into next week. So with the divine feminine, it was more about the sun shifting into Gemini. So the opening of consciousness, revelation, innovation, creativity, all that kind of stuff. Next week coming up, we have the full moon in Scorpio. So this is for the masculine. This is really interesting shift in the, I guess, the dynamic of traditional ways that we think of divine feminine, divine masculine energy. The feminine is being guided to pay attention to what's going on with the sun, and the masculine is being asked to pay attention to what's going on with the moon for that healing of the heart, right? For the feminine, it's the healing of the mind and the consciousness. Because if the consciousness is fucked up for the feminine, then it fucks up their ability to be in control of their spiritual power. So this is really powerful. Now, I'm also getting the term ancestry with this, with the death card. So there may be a lot that's coming up for you to look at, focus, and heal. Okay, where you might not have gotten your needs met, whether this is with your parents, grandparents, or within the lineage of the family. There's opportunity for this to be released. So keep going within, keep turning into the heart. Very interesting, guys. Okay, so the battle we just the divine masculine just had is the lovers. So this could have been a twin flame interaction that you just had that is facilitating this process of death and rebirth, transformation. This could be a choice that you had to make about relationships or about business. This is the card of Gemini, though. This is the mind or spirit as well. So maybe you also, in tandem with this, had to fight and to push to come to greater internal balance. Yeah, you are a little bit more stable emotionally, which is good, but there's still more to let go of. You're not done yet. Okay. So don't get so stuck in your ways. Because right now, what seems to be is that there's needing to be a looking at the belief systems that were underlying maybe the traumas that you've been trying to heal through, whether it's relationship trauma or family stuff, like I said. Because as you do that, it's going to show you how you've been manifesting unconsciously. So this actually might have to do with a lot of the deeper emotional, um, subconscious patterning that has been leading you in your life so far. And now that there's been enough clearing that's happened, or enough awareness of what's been going on within your heart, uh, maybe you are seeing more clearly, or you're being asked to see more clearly how those fundamental beliefs have been shaping your life and being able to give you the life that you want in career, finances, health, relationships, etc. But this is a lot, like, this is very family centered, though, is what I'm getting. So there's a lot here that might have to do with the father or the mother or both, or just patterns. But I think it's actually going to be like actual parents, possibly siblings, because this can also talk about siblings, the lovers. So maybe you just recently had a blow up with a sibling or two. Or maybe there's been some things that's been revealed about like what was actually going on in childhood. Like maybe you don't actually have full memory of experiences that you have, and you have like an older, younger sibling who's like, hey, yeah, and I know we never talked about this, but this was actually going on. Like, maybe mom was being abused by dad, or maybe there was some sexual trauma that was going on that you just forgot about, you blacked out. Like, who knows what these conversations are, have been, or what's coming to mind. But this is, yeah. But as long as you keep going on that journey, you'll be successful. And it's going to make you a more conscious creator of your environment, of your physical experience, which is ultimately what this is about. That keeps you in your power and ability to not create a lot of collateral damage in the process of creation. So a lot of this as well too is this would have been very much kicked off with the new moon in Taurus, because there's just a lot of earth and family and yeah, just a lot of the energy showing up. And I was getting a bit of that too, with the feminine about the ancient earth stuff. But no, it's Taurus, right? So this This new moon is providing, or this new moon lunar month that we're in is providing deep transformation for the masculine principle. So for those who sit in the divine masculine or identify with that, or for those of us who are integrated twins, we've been dealing with this as well too. And I definitely can attest to that. It's been both, you know, the light as well as the dark as it relates to deep childhood trauma. But all you have to do is just bring the presence of God there. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to fix. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Cool. So, does twin flame have to mean lovers? No. I explained that actually in the beginning of the video, Stephanie Stevens. So definitely go check that out and check out the blog on my website, innersunalchemy.com, on twins. Sacred Life Tarot says, my question is how to engage with my twin divine masculine in the coming weeks, months. She and I will have to spend time together this summer, but recently had some difficult and confusing discussion energy between us. What's her first name and sun sign? And then your first name and sun sign, please. And I'll just do a quick check-in. Can this light let me be great? I mean, the hair is cute and the makeup's cute, but like, yeah. So if you can type that up real quick, Sacred Life Tarot, that would be awesome. Larisha, and she's Virgo, and then to know you're Cancer. Okay. Oh, Jesus, Lord. Listen, I hear you on that. Cancer, Virgo dynamic right now. So annoying. All right, so let me pick up her energy real quick. Let's see how she's showing up. Queen of Wands. You have Queen of Cups. So you guys, yes, are twins. The counterpart, fire and water. And you are showing up as yourself, which is good. Depending on the rest of her chart, she might be acting out of pocket. I'll just say that. Queen of Wands is a tricky energy. I'm not mad at it, but it can be tricky. All right. Oh, okay. That was a lot that came out, so I will go ahead and take it all. All right. So Knight of Swords. Yes. Oh, you're both Leo risings. Okay. No wonder there's conflict because, yeah, somebody doesn't know how to. Y'all are two leaders, two cats. What's your moon, Tamil? And what's her moon, if you know it? Interesting. But yeah, there is a battle in the spirit happening with the Knight of Swords. Straight up. Yours is Pisces. Hers is Libra. Wow. Yeah. Oh, so you all the water. So you feel everything and you know everything. All right. 5 of Cups. Yeah, some heartbreak, sorrow, disappointment, regret. Leo. 8 of Pentacles. Judgment. And the 5 of Swords. Underlying 9 of Swords. This is Mars and Gemini. So this also could literally have been going on for a couple of weeks, this disturbance, if it's associated with that time frame. This is also Mars and Gemini as well, too. So there's double confirmation on that this has been brewing for a little while. Okay. So the way this came out with the 6 cards, it's feeling like the first 3 are hers and the second set of 3 are yours. So she's just going through some stuff, and there also may be some lust energy, or just kind of, I'll just say this, kind of all over the place for her. But it's just stuff that she needs to go through and heal, and it has nothing to do with you. You, however, need to be about your coin, be about your business, put in the work, build what you need to be building. Because if you already have the Eight of Pentacles showing up here, that means that um, you are in a space of propagating abundance and prosperity. And you need to continue on to that so you can get the 9 and the 10. You already know what's up with the last judgment here. The decision already had been made, or clarification already came through, probably within the last few weeks, or since sometimes after, in the last month or after the spring equinox. So you already know what's up. And for you, this is a lesson about holding boundaries. Being clear about what you want and not giving grounds, like staying true to what you need and you want. Yeah. And I know that's easier said than done, but you can't let that energy knock you off course. So if you guys have already had a discussion about the relationship, or what you need, or what you want to build moving forward, and the two of you are not actually in the same place, or you want two different things, like, you got to be real about that. But there is a lot of fighting, but it's really coming from her. But it's because of some other stuff, some healing of the heart. I mean, literally, like the Five of Cups, like what I just was saying about the divine masculine, like that's literally what she's dealing with. But you also don't need to make yourself collateral damage. And I know that may be hard for you as a Pisces moon, as a Cancer sun. So, be loving and kind. Like, just because someone is acting out of pocket potentially does not mean that you shift how you show up. Outside energy, even if it's a twin, should not have the power to dim our light, or to um, dampen the expression of our true divine nature. And that's what the divine is also calling you out on, if that's been the case. Okay. So I hope that helps. Veronica Smith says, what is the difference between twin and karmic? Those are terminologies that I really use, but what you'll find is that when they say karmic, they just mean somebody who we think is a twin flame, but they're just a soulmate, whatever that is. But again, if you haven't been listening from the beginning, go back to the description that I gave about what twin flames are from my perspective, as well as read the blog on my website. Because karma is karma. Like, we create karma all the time. It's cause and effect. What they're really talking about is interdependent relationships versus codependent relationships. That's really what that is. Okay. Now, twins in particular, because they are, if they are true twins, they are actively working on their spiritual growth. So in my opinion, if somebody is not actually engaging in that, they're not a twin, like, flat out. They're soulmate. energy, but twin is those who are soulmates who go actively, consciously on their ascension path, because they're here to serve the collective. And there is going to be an opening and an understanding about the spiritual nature and all those kinds of things. Like if somebody's not actually on that same wavelength, that they're not a twin. Like, so I don't like that whole thing about like, oh, my twin, like, you know, he hasn't been doing his work or what have you. I'm like, that's not a twin. That's just a soulmate that you've had many lifetimes with, and you don't know how to ask for what you want. That'll be another discussion about toxic femininity when we're talking about men and women dynamics and codependency. Charisse, greetings, Jynnette. Greetings. Given the sensitive energy right now, I'm looking for guidance in my communications with my Gemini daughter coming to visit me for Mother's Day this weekend. I thought I was a sensitive one. You're welcome, Sacred Life Tarot. I hope that helps. And if you need more clarification, you know, just ask real quick, because I feel like I'm also still missing information, but okay, so Charisse, I'm getting stuff about control with you. Surrender. So the message that I just gave earlier about the divine feminine, and you need to go on the path of 8 of Swords, but in this context, this is about surrendering. Surrendering control is what needs to happen. Okay. And we got the Princess of Swords on the bottom. So this is the daughter. Like, you don't need to fight. You don't need to fight. Surrender. Just needs your heart. All right. Any other questions, guys? And welcome to those of you who are coming in. Please like the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers, please. Yep. You might be sitting more in that divine masculine energy too, Charisse. So heal the heart. Okay, especially if you felt like you didn't get what you needed as a child growing up. You can't force your daughter to have that experience with you. She's not going to be the avenue to help you heal that. Okay, so don't put that on her, please, because she will rebel. Leona Nicole Black says, how can I use my sexual energy for spiritual purposes? Thank you for your loving service. I mean, there's this thing called Tantra. What exactly are the spiritual purposes, though? Because really, sexual energy is just your energy naturally. You need to just have a purpose. Yeah, and there's some kind of illusion about that. So, I mean, you can use it for creating a lot of options for what you want, but if sexual energy has been something that has clouded your thinking, or you know, some type of way of behaving, whether not getting yourself enough of it or getting too much, the sexual energy is not the issue. So there's something there that's deeper that would have to be addressed. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Charisse. Will there be a healing with my daughter who has been under occult influence restricting our relationship? Well, that's her free will, though. That's her free will. Ace of Pentacles. because there's no actual block to the relationship. Um, like she's your daughter, period. So um, it's the same thing as if, you know, you have a child that is dating somebody that you don't approve or is doing work that you don't approve. You may not like it, but it's not your place to step in, right? To try to shift that. And if that energy is there, that's actually what's hindering a potential relationship. But also, too, as I was saying to Charisse earlier, the relationship with the child is not there to heal the potentially broken or emotionally unfulfilling relationship that we might have had with our parents. It's not appropriate. Like, it's really not. It's really not. Charisse working on that. Understood. Good. On a solo basis, because I'm celibate, I've been guided to do so, but I don't have clarity. So then, yeah, find a tantra yoga teacher, preferably somebody who's actually a person of color. Like, really. Yeah, that's where you'd want to go. Like, I don't have expertise in that, so what's been the guidance though about using the sexual energy for spiritual purposes for you, Leona? Is it because like your energy is too dissipated and you need to be able to like refine it and what's the word? I guess embolden it or amplify it, focus it? Is that what it is? Because if that's the case, also martial arts will be amazing for that, like real talk. But yeah, find a teacher. I've heard through clairaudience, use your sexual energy to create a different outcome in reference to my twin. Oh. See, I stand by the original guidance I gave. You don't need to change a different outcome with your twin. Because I had the 7 of Pentacles energy, and it's like there's illusion there. It's not, this is a distraction. If you actually do that, it's going to create not good karma. So you don't need to do anything to attract or heal anything with your twin. And this is the thing, is like, and this is for all relationships, whether business or personal or romantic. Hands off is the approach. Because if we are working in the light, then we are bound by the law of divine consent. And free will has to be invoked by the other person. Okay? And free will can't be invoked if you are getting in there meddling, whether in the physical, with conversations, words, etc., or energetically. And it's hard, especially for those who sit in the divine feminine energy more predominantly, because we see all, we feel all, and we want to help because we love deeply, but we don't understand that when we try to take action as it relates to another individual, it actually creates karma. So I think I am gonna have to do a talk on that, on the toxic divine feminine energy, because there's already enough about the divine masculine, which we very much still have to fight and battle against. But it's such a subtle dance for the feminine energy, for the feminine principle. Like the ramifications energetically are so strong and so profound. But that's why I'm so adamant about it, and like I'm so hard line about divine consent and about energetic boundaries. Like, because it causes shit. It really does. And a lot of us don't even know. We're not, intending, but we're well intentioned and well meaning, but yeah. Spirit confirmed a blocked heaven place. I heard through. Oh, so that's Leslie. Leslie, you have to focus on yourself. You have to focus on yourself. Okay, let me get closing guidance because I do actually have to run, guys. It's 10:57. Yep. Have to maintain a higher perspective, 6 of Swords, divine mind about things, especially when it relates to the heart. Spirit knows what's best. We may not like it, but Spirit always does. The Star, again, divinity, and the Emperor finally came out, divine masculine. Hold your ground, hold your boundaries, stay in your power, be self-centered. This message is so important, especially for those in the divine feminine energy. Like, you've got to do that and be more comfortable with it. 5 of Swords, again, this thing about boundaries. So there's a lot here about consciousness, mindset, and what happens in the spirit. Okay. All right, guys. And on the bottom of the deck, again, surrender to the soul wisdom, not the human wisdom, because the soul is not tied up in these things that you were tied up in. It always knows the way out. It always knows the next step. All right. I love you all. I'm right here with you on this journey. Trust me. Everything I say to you, I am saying to myself. Trust me. But I love you. Thank you. Please share this and also share with everyone the crystal grid I put up today. Tap into that as much as you can. I'm going to leave this up for a little while. But even when I do take it down, like I mentioned in my posts on Instagram and on Facebook, it is held there in all time space. So as long as you have access to the picture or the consciousness of it, you got the energy. Okay. I love you. Bye.